I'm doing a little experiment with today's episode. I'm curious to see if you notice it by the end, but that's just a bonus. What I'm really interested in today is fate. Specifically, the idea that what has already happened was always going to happen that way, and yet the future is somehow malleable. Fate shows up all over the place in video games and in media in general. Yet games are unique in how they allow us to manipulate characters' fates and the fate of the world around them. As a developer, I often feel what I'm gonna call little strands of fate tugging at my creations or at me. Realistically, it's probably just my own interests and experiences pulling me towards one idea or another. But for today, let's call it fate because it's more poetic that way, and I'm kind of just feeling it. This is Game, Develop, Repeat, and I'm your host, Chris. Thank you for joining me for today's episode. I'm not a big fan of fate as a driving force in games. I find that it adds this weird little layer of pointlessness or hopelessness, but I do love one version of it, arguably the most common one, which is Defying Fate, or at its most extreme, the JRPG classic of defying and literally killing God, or the concept of death, life, or nature. And I love these grand visions, these battles against deep, powerful forces that imply that humans can conquer their own nature or take down literally any challenge. Granted, it gets pretty cheesy sometimes when a story goes too far and turns into like the anime kind of thing, where it's the power of friendship can kill gods without any real like emotional depth behind it other than just yay friendship. But when a game manages to portray something that feels like actual defiance against fate, it is phenomenal. I think Dark Souls does this. Hades and Hades 2 do it in a very interesting and somewhat blunt but incredible way. Celeste makes this feel deeply personal and depicts fate as a thing to be navigated as an obstacle course that forces you to either accept your fate right now and give up, or accept that struggling through the challenge is your real fate. Speaking of that, any game by Bennett Foddy slaps you across the face over and over, telling you that there is no victory, telling you through its challenges that you are fated to be a loser and a failure. Meanwhile, the game hints at a different fate. It gives you these little tastes of success before knocking you down. It hints at glorious, hard fought victory. And many games depict fate purely through story and dialogue, or just one thing or the other, right? Pure challenge or pure story. But I think it's pretty effective when you combine both of them. You combine the challenging gameplay with the story, and you end up getting a masterpiece like, for instance, Celeste or Expedition 33. There's another element of fate in every single video game. It's a completely inescapable one. It's the sort of fate that we don't like to look at or tend not to look at, talk about too much, because there's a sense of total helplessness beneath it and because it's easy to just miss. It can be seen by comparing games of different genres or games with completely different aesthetics. The world itself, the nature of it is set in stone. It is, you are completely and totally fated to navigate the nature of the world. The types of opportunities that exist are set. The history, the colors, the inhabitants, and in a game, the challenges that the characters face, the people in their lives, the way events can unfold. Not the conclusions, but the list of available options. So when you play Stardew, you enter a world of hope. When you play Incredible Crisis, you are entering a world of panic. even if things turn out well, it'll be a result of navigating that panic, not for you, but for the characters. This is one of the reasons why I love Cook Serve Delicious 2 and 3 so much. They put you in a world of absolute chaos and mayhem, and they say, hey, man, you're just trying to get by. Thrive, even. And then you do exactly that. You just cook and you serve customers and you remain relatively isolated from the chaos, at least in Cook Serve Delicious 2. In the third game, it lets all of the lore that's been tucked away in the background and all the chaos going around in the world finally affect your gameplay as you drive a food truck through the dangerous landscape of a ravaged country and fight off other food trucks. And it's a very absurd game, and I really do recommend it. But you use the skills that you have to do the best that you can in your environment. Speaking of using your skills to the best that you can, let's talk about some game development. My past is set in stone, and the future is determined by what I do right now. Not today, but right this moment. And the implications of this fact upon my game development are pretty far reaching. The first, most obvious one is to use what I'm good at, to play to my strengths, and then to do what I want to improve at, to go ahead and start navigating in that direction, and to pay attention to everything that I'm doing. To make sure to set the course at least a little bit. The second implication is an illusion that sometimes needs to be shattered. It's the illusion that what you've already designed or developed has to stay that way. I think that this is a scam. This is a tricky little belief that we fall into. You cannot change your past. That's true. You spent that time. But you can absolutely change your design. You can change the things that you've created in the past, even if it hurts to change your design. I have spent hundreds of hours gaming, chasing specific results, save scumming to redo random chance, or to try again to get a perfect score on a difficult minigame or challenging boss. In small amounts or for reasons that you personally find acceptable, save scumming can be great. It's the whoops, let's give that one another try of the video game world. And I think we get to do it a lot more in the video game world than we do in real life. But why not save scum in your game development? You've gained the skills and the knowledge on the first try, just like when you're playing a game. Why not load the game and try again? Do another draft, produce multiple drafts, play around, experiment. Restart from zero sometimes. It's okay to do that. The only thing you have to lose is time. And that's not a problem if you're enjoying what you're spending time on, especially if you're developing skills in the process. That's kind of all I have to say about the development side of this. I know that's not much, but I don't think we have to belabor the point. Believe it or not, we have reached the end of this episode. I know it is an especially short episode. That is a result of the experiment that I have been running today. That's not what the experiment was, but it is a side effect. I hope you enjoyed the episode and the little experiment. I hope you don't mind the shorter run time today. But I wanted to play with my fate just a little bit and see what a small change would do, see where it would lead me. I guess this week's question is this. What are you experimenting with right now in terms of game development or creativity? And I will go ahead and reveal what the experiment is if you have not already figured it out. Today's episode was scripted to a much greater degree than normal. I wrote out almost every word of the episode. I added a few little sentences here and there, but I found, this is now unscripted, but I found that I have some trouble. You'll also see how much more I ramble as I go unscripted. I found that I have some trouble sometimes structuring my thoughts and sticking to the ideas that I have and fully expressing those concepts So I wanted to give it a try with a little bit more of a script. I think if I continue doing this, it will result in much shorter episodes, but much more structure, much clearer thoughts, and a much stronger ability to learn from what I am talking about or think deeper about it. So I may experiment with this every once in a while. I don't know. I also kind of like just doing the loose, talk about whatever I want to talk about, completely open style. But give me some feedback. Hop into the Discord. Let me know what you think about this much more structured recording style. And also let me know what kind of experiments you want to run. Because it ain't the end of days if you run an experiment and then go, never mind. Let's go a different path with it. That is everything that I've got for you this week. I will see you in the next one. Until then, get out there, make some stuff, and have fun with it. Bye-bye.